Okay, what's going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? So, I really didn't think I would ever tell this story, but you know what? Stories are made to be told. One thing, I cannot wait to hook that up in here, because that is going to make projects so much more enjoyable to work on. So, I was 15 at the time, so this didn't happen recently. This was a long time ago, but I've been holding this back. I don't know, but you know what? One of these bikes almost got me in a lot of trouble. So I'm just gonna play some riding footage so you guys don't have to stare at the bike, the whole time. But one of these bikes almost got me in trouble. So pretty much how this started, me and I was with a friend. We're gonna call him Steve. So me and Steve, he had a bike too. He's a lot better at cop watching than I am. So we were riding, not on the beach, but at the beach, and one of the neighborhoods. And there was a block party going on, and there was a cop hiding, not hiding, but he was tucked in between a couple cars, but I didn't see him, and I was on one of the bikes. Of course, you could figure it out because I didn't have Wally at the time, and I didn't have the 212 at the time. But so I did not see this cop there, and I blasted him at probably 35 miles an hour. Well, Steve was smart, and he shut his bike off and pedaled past this cop. Well, the bike was straight piped at the time. He had his windows down, he heard it, and he saw it. I think he was eating lunch. So he pulls out, and he didn't gun it at me. He actually pulled up kind of behind Steve. So there was a stop sign a block away. So Steve pulled up to the stop sign, stopped there, and the cop came up to me and said, "Where'd your friend go?" I was gone. There was a park not too far, so what I did was I made a left and I did a huge circle, and I actually skipped the street and I did this huge circle. And Steve was kind of smart. He kind of followed the cop for a little bit, and as soon as I came back around to where we were, I made an immediate right and went straight into this park, and I sat on the boardwalk and dumped the bike. So after I dumped the bike, I got on foot and I walked to the entrance of the park and kind of hid behind this really big bush at the entrance of the boardwalk so nobody could see me. And if, the guy came around the corner, I could have just crawled back onto the boardwalk and I would have been gone. So again, I was 15, I wasn't very smart. And I was 1 week away from getting my license, and a ticket would have really ruined that. So about, 5 minutes later, I heard Steve running his bike, so I kind of ran out and waved him down and ran back on the boardwalk, and he saw me. And he comes down there, and the first thing he says, "He is looking for you big time." So what did we do? We sat on that boardwalk for 30 minutes just watching the boats go by. And there's two ways onto that boardwalk, which means there's two ways out of it, because there's two entrances to this park. Well, we go to one entrance. There's a cop car sitting at the entrance of the boardwalk in the parking lot with it running, so I knew he was in it. So I was like, crap. So we went all the way to the other side, and no cop car. So I made him go first and check. We were good. And this bike was highlighter green. You could not miss it. That was back when it was really, really bright. And we take off through the neighborhood, and we go straight across the street where the main road is onto the beach, because we knew that the cops don't drive physically on the sand. So I knew we can get away with that. So what happened was we were able to cross the street without any cops being there, thank God. And I went straight onto the sand. We pedaled all the way down the sand to the main, exit point to get onto the bridge to go home. Well, cops always sit at that gas station that is right at that bridge. You know, it's like an abandoned gas station. So what happened was we ended up going like 2 beach exit points down, and that's where we decided to get off, because there's another there's like a shopping, you know, a couple stores, and then there's a couple hotels behind, so there's like some alleyways. We bolted across the street, got into those alleyways, bolted it like full throttle over the bridge on the sidewalk. I mean, that was not the smartest thing in the world, but I really couldn't risk it. So I bolted across the bridge. He's like behind because my bike was a little bit faster than his. And then once we got back into the neighborhood, I waited for him. He came up and we just cruised on home. And that was the scariest and the closest time I've ever come to being stopped on the bike. The other time, well, let's just say I was on the electric bike, not the black one, the pink one. And there'll be some electric bike stuff soon. But I did not know. I knew you could have the electric bike. I didn't know how kind of strict the laws were. So I was on the sidewalk. You know, I was on the right side. You know, traffic's going one way. I was going the other, but I was on the sidewalk, but I was doing full throttle. So I was doing about 18. That's where the bike usually tops out, 18 to 20. And this cop, he must have had nothing better to do. He slams on his brakes so hard I can hear his tires screech, flips on his lights, jumps out and asks me where the motor is. I think he thought it was gas. But then I got a 5-minute lecture about how dangerous it is for me to be on the sidewalk and blah, 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 blah. I really hate the bike lane, as some of you know. So I still ride on the sidewalk. But then I got a lecture about how the law is you have to be on the side of the road where traffic is flowing. So if I'm going one way, I have to go the same way as traffic. I didn't know that. My fault. But luckily I got away with it. He just said, hey, you know, at first he was I was scared, but after that he was really nice about it. So those are my 2 cop stories. I don't know. I didn't really have anything planned. I do have a mount coming for the GoPro to mount it to the gas tank of Wally to catch the fire shooting, because a lot of people like to see that. So I'll be able to do another one with Lola and then one with Wally, and then we can vote which one you guys like more. Lola's is longer and louder, but I don't know, Wally's is just like a little explosion coming out. It's kind of cool. You'll have to see it. I kind of like Lola's more because it's louder and it's a little bit more cool. Wally just kind of does it and you don't necessarily hear it. But yeah, if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you guys think of the one story. The other one's not that interesting, but the main story was kind of, it was a riot. It was definitely a riot. But yeah, have a good day, everybody.